Okay, so have you ever walked through a flea market, and see all that cool stuff, and then thought, wait, I could totally sell something here?
Totally. It's such a great way to, make some extra cash. And who doesn't love a good flea market find, right?
Right. And today we're diving into that, like
Yeah.
really diving into how to turn liquidation merchandise into your own personal flea market fortune.
Yeah, liquidation is where it's at. You can get incredible deals on merchandise, often for pennies on the dollar. We're
Mm.
talking about maximizing those profit margins.
Okay, so huge profit margins. That sounds amazing, but back up a sec. Before we go full-on entrepreneur here, what exactly is liquidation merchandise?
Okay, so imagine this. A store is going out of business, overstock, whatever. Or maybe a manufacturer has like a ton of extra inventory. They need to get rid of it fast, right?
Makes sense. Time is money.
Right. Exactly. So they sell it off, often for super cheap, to liquidators. Now, this is where you come in. You can become one of those liquidators, snagging everything from clothes and electronics to furniture and home goods, all at crazy low prices.
Wow, it sounds like a bargain hunter's paradise.
Oh, it is. Liquidation is like a gold mine for anyone who loves a good deal and isn't afraid of a little digging.
So we're talking rock bottom prices, the thrill of the hunt for those hidden gems. Sign me up.
I knew you'd be into it. It's all about strategy and having an eye for what sells, but we'll
Uh,
get to that.
So we've got our pallets of liquidation gold ready to hit the flea market. But speaking of flea markets, I got to make a confession. Remember that time I thought I was going to a flea market? Ended up at a swap meet? Yeah. Turns out knowing the difference is kind of important.
Oh, I've been there. It's easy to get them mixed up, but they definitely attract different crowds.
Right. So what exactly makes a flea market different from a swap meet? For those of us who, might accidentally wander into the wrong place.
Flea markets are like the ultimate treasure hunt. You'll find a little bit of everything there: vintage clothes, antiques, handmade crafts, you name it. People go to flea markets for the experience, for those one-of-a-kind finds. Swap meets, on the other hand, are a bit more niche. You're more likely to find car parts, tools, plants, that kind of thing.
So flea markets are for the bargain hunters and swap meets are for the hobbyists.
Exactly. Okay, so back to our liquidation haul. Where do we even find this amazing treasure trove of merchandise? I've heard the term wholesale warehouses thrown around.
Oh yeah, those sound kind of intimidating. Like giant warehouses stacked to the ceiling with stuff.
Pretty much. But trust me, it's a gold mine for resellers. Think of it like Costco, but for people who buy in bulk to resell. You'll find pallets stacked high with all sorts of goodies, often at ridiculously low prices.
Okay, so when you say pallets,
Yeah,
we're talking about those giant wooden platforms with like a ton of boxes on them,
you
right?
got it. And here's the thing. You usually buy the whole pallet without knowing exactly what's inside. It's a gamble, but that's part of the thrill. You could uncover some real gems hidden in there.
So it's like a giant grab bag of retail potential. What about truckloads? I've heard that term thrown around too.
Truckloads are even bigger, as you might imagine. Basically, you're buying an entire truckload of merchandise, usually from a single category. So if you're really looking to focus on a specific niche, truckloads can be a good option.
So with pallets, it's all about embracing the surprise, while truckloads offer a bit more predictability.
Got it. But how do we know where to even find these pallets and truckloads?
Great question. You can start by researching liquidation companies and wholesale suppliers in your area. Online marketplaces and auction sites are also great resources. They often have listings for pallets and truckloads of liquidated merchandise.
Online. Who knew? Okay, so we've got our sourcing strategies down. Time to figure out what actually sells well at these flea markets. Spill the secrets. What should we be on the lookout for?
All right, let's start with a classic. Tools. You can't go wrong with a good set of tools. Drills, hammers, wrenches, you name it. People are always looking for a good deal on those.
Tools, got it. What about for the homebodies out there? Furniture is always a winner. Coffee tables, end tables, even smaller dressers or desks, those can be a big hit at flea markets.
Okay, so we've got tools and furniture. What else are flea market shoppers looking for?
Tech gadgets. Things like headphones, Bluetooth speakers, maybe some older generation tablets. People love finding a good deal on tech.
So we've got the practical, the decorative, the techie.
Yeah.
What about something with a little more style? Asking for a friend.
Clothing. And not just any clothing. Think vintage finds, designer pieces. People love the thrill of finding unique pieces they can't get anywhere else.
Okay, we're styling now. We've got tools, furniture, tech gadgets, and vintage clothing. What else should we add to our flea market arsenal?
Don't forget about the parents and caregivers out there. Baby and kids items are always in high demand. Think clothes, toys, books. Anything to make life a little easier for those with little ones.
All right, so let's set the scene. It's a bright, sunny morning. We snag that prime spot at the flea market, you know, the one right by the entrance,
The best spot.
the best spot. And our tables, oh, they are overflowing with all those amazing finds. Tools, furniture tech, vintage clothes, even some adorable baby stuff. We are ready to rake it in. But how do we actually turn all this liquidation gold into, you know, cold hard cash?
That, my friend, is the million-dollar question, isn't it? But really, it's all about presentation, pricing it right, and knowing how to work the crowd, making those connections.
All right, so break it down for us. What's the secret sauce, the magic touch, that's going to have those flea market shoppers, those browsers, turning into buyers?
First things first, your setup. It's got to be eye-catching.
Okay, so we're talking like visual merchandising. We're not just dumping boxes on a table and hoping for the best.
Exactly. Think of it like your own little pop-up shop. You want it to be inviting, organized, make it easy for people to find what they're looking for.
Okay, so we're creating a vibe here. I like it.
Right. A little ambiance. So use tablecloths, maybe some boxes or crates to add some height, make things pop visually. And of course, make sure everything is priced clearly. Nobody wants to be asking for prices all day long.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So presentation is key. But what about pricing strategy? How do we find that sweet spot, where we're making a profit, but also offering those killer deals that flea market shoppers dream of?
Do your research. Seriously. Before you even think about setting those prices, go online. Check out eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. See what similar items are going for. You want to be competitive, obviously, but you also don't want to undervalue your stuff. Remember, you got those liquidation prices, so you've got some wiggle room.
Okay, so we've got our prices set. What about actually, sealing the deal? Any tips for closing those sales?
Be friendly. That's the #1 rule of the flea market. Smile, be approachable, and don't be afraid to chat with people. Tell them a little bit about the items, where you got them, why they're so great. People love a good story.
It's all about that personal touch, right?
Yeah.
Building that connection with your customers.
Exactly. And most importantly, have fun with it. Flea marketing should be enjoyable, so relax, embrace the experience, and the profits will follow.
This deep dives has been amazing. I feel like I've learned so much. We've covered everything from sourcing those incredible liquidation deals to setting up shop and, of course, mastering the art of the sale. But remember, at the end of the day, it's all about finding that balance between passion and profit. So go out there, embrace your inner entrepreneur, and turn your love of a good deal into a thriving flea market business. And that's a wrap on another deep dive. Until next time.